Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price,
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
and you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard. Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him. But it's tapped in by Higgins here. Matic with the ball driver. Matic takes the net off. Hat-trick hero. Cole Palmer wins an epic, sensational game.
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode...
Well, on Monday I had the flu. On Tuesday, I thought Chelsea would cheer me up, and they went in my face. Oh, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of At the Bridge Pod. There is other intros I could do. You've all seen it in the Discord. I can't do that yet. But I am joined in the virtual room filled with some Lions. I've got Ollie. I've got Chris. I've got my cat Tom. He's here as always. It is the Friday show on a Friday, as it always should be. And of course, what are you looking forward to this weekend, team?
Do you know what? I actually had one and I've forgotten it.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Ollie.
I got. You go, Chris, while I try and remember it.
I'm going to St George's Park on Sunday
Oh,
Nice.
for
What for?
a football coaches conference.
Okay. I have no
So,
idea
yeah,
what that's
I'm-
like. What's that like?
Look-
What's that going to be?
look- Looking forward to that. It's just like a seminar sort of thing.
Okay.
Sort of networking type of.
Yeah,
What was it?
yeah, and then networking opportunities, and we're going to get to watch some academy teams train.
Ah,
So that'll be cool. Yeah, so it'll be a pretty good experience, I think.
wicked.
What am I doing? What am I doing? Do you know what? I just got fucking nothing. If I'm honest, I'm
In
sick.
fairness- in
I'm
fairness,
looking forward.
listeners. Ollie has actually died, and we've replaced him with AI.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not doing well.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully getting over my sickness. That's
You
what
know
I'm looking
what?
forward to this weekend.
I'm genuinely looking forward to just being myself again, a little bit more myself. I mean, battled flu all week long. It sucked. The exhaustion, the loss of appetite. That's been horrid. Having to watch
Yeah.
Chelsea on Tuesday, that was horrid.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was the worst. That was the worst bit.
You know what's funny? On Tuesday, my temperature spiked to over 38. I don't know if it was just the flu or just my anger. But I did, of course, manage to carve out some time to pull up some football to watch for you all. So I've got the schedule here. It's all times are GMT. So tonight, Friday, 8 p.m, JJ Watts Burnley take on Sunderland in the Championship Showdown. Second versus fourth. Win for Sunderland would see them leapfrog into second place. By the time this airs, the result's going to be decided, but you now know it happened. So well done. Tomorrow, Saturday, 4 a.m, if you're an early bird, Auckland FC face Melbourne City FC in the Australian A-League. First versus third. It's a pivotal week.
Oh, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel this
Well,
week.
no, I'm
aren't
not,
you?
because we have Australian listenership and they need to know. They already know, but
They know.
it's a pivotal week for Auckland because they also play Adelaide United on Wednesday. 2 wins could see them top of the table. And then do you know what's happening at 12:30, Ollie? I forgot to put this in, but I've just remembered.
12:30 on what days? Tomorrow.
Yes,
It's
it's
I don't know.
Cardiff City versus Swansea City.
Right. Wales Derby. That'll be good.
Aaron Ramsey's injured. David Turnbull's injured. Too many injuries there. That might not be great. But anyway,
Let's be real. Nobody cares.
hey,
That's so true.
Saturday, 5 p.m, 7:45 p.m, Serie A doubleheader. Juve versus AC Milan, and then
Oh, there we go. We've got a good one. That'll be an actual good game.
Atalanta, Napoli. That's pretty cool. And then Sunday, if you wanted a Sunday game other than Chelsea, women, of course.
We're playing Monday, by the way, not Sunday.
We are indeed. 6:45 p.m, cap off the weekend with the Manchester Derby in the WSL. So plenty of action there to keep you across well, keep you entertained. Shout out, Scott Shevva shout out. It's the one that I couldn't pull up on Monday. So now I've got it.
Is it Barry again?
It's not Barry. It's not Barry. So I was so tempted to do a mockery name then. I'm not. It's Ethan. Ethan has said every time, this pod never fails to make my day. Keep up the good work, lads. 5 stars and up the Chelsea. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Mate.
And of course, that means we now move to the news. There's too much fucking news. Oh, but we're going to check it out in what you may have missed in the elevator of Chelsea.
You should have just. That's it. That's the segment over. There's too much fucking news.
Right,
moving on.
Let's get in and out of this elevator. It's a long one. Renato Veiga wants to leave Chelsea and join Borussia Dortmund. Renato Veiga does not want to leave Chelsea and join Borussia Dortmund. Marseille are in talks to sign Renato Veiga. Dortmund have now submitted a loan offer for Renato Veiga. Renato Veiga might turn up at your workplace on Monday morning. The Premier League has not charged any clubs with PSR breaches for last season. Trevor Chalobah has been recalled by Chelsea from his loan spell at Palace. Chelsea are interested in both Alejandro Garnacho and Jamie Gittens. And finally, the news you all waited to hear us discuss. Lazio fired their falconer after he willingly published a video on Instagram showing his penis after getting a prosthesis, claiming his personal life will now get better and his eagle won't fly at the stadium anymore. I'm hoping.
I think that's a euphemism.
I thought that too. No, he's genuinely been fired, but apparently he's still at the stadium. He won't leave. I love Serie A. It's just madness. It's like, what? Oh my word.
That's so funny.
It's so ridiculous. Honestly, the fact that story crossed itself into the other sport I love, the NFL, and there were so many NFL-based takes on it. It was like, what the fuck is going on?
Why does a club even have a falconer? What's that even
it's a big thing. Crystal Palace used to have one with their eagle, I think.
Yeah, but like, I get it, I guess, but like, I don't know. It just seems a weird thing for a football club to actually have.
Well, what
I don't know. Maybe I might have touch. Maybe.
We have news. I'll divert to the Chalobah story. I will give my take on that in winners and losers because I've got my own reasons. I've given it away, but I don't give a shit. So, what do you think on Trevor Chalobah?
First of all, I want to say I think it's a huge plus for Chalobah, like for the way people should be viewing Chalobah, because it shows how much of a professional he's been, despite the fact of how much we fucked him around. But also, it shows actually that it shows a lot of strength in his character for playing his way back into basically every Chelsea team since Tuchel was here. In literally, I think in every single manager since Tuchel was here, he's been frozen out at one stage, maybe even with Lampard beforehand. I can't remember, but he was frozen out and then he comes back. Every time he's frozen out, he comes back. You can't get rid of him. He's like this illness I've got, but a good version.
Bloody hell.
But I'm actually quite happy to see Trev back. I know a lot of people maybe aren't as happy with it, but I think he's a model pro. I think he'll be fine. Like, I don't think he's any worse than the centre backs we've got. So in terms of cover, it might mean like we've got some movement happening there this month. So yeah, I think, despite what a lot of people might be saying, I actually think this is generally a positive move. The one thing that I don't like is that immediately when we recalled him, the story immediately became that we were going to sell him again in summer. And it's like, how can you make that decision now?
I know.
Like, you can't be making that decision now. You have to see how he does, because you fucked him around so much that you have to at least give him the opportunity to prove himself.
And the PR bullshit that came out afterwards, like,
oh yeah,
I phoned him. Shut up. No one cares.
No, my favourite one was where it said, "Oh yeah, like apparently now he can play under Maresca." Because previously the exact opposite headline was the case. So dear.
Chris, what do you think? Oh, go on, Ollie.
I was just going to say, this club will say absolutely anything to look good in the media.
Oh, of course,
absolutely anything.
I'm happy to see him back. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's like comes in and makes us abundantly better, but he's, like Ollie said, he's no worse than anything that we've got already. I think he's probably slightly better than players like Disasi, Badiashile, even Tosin. I think he's probably better than them. I do wonder with these sort of moves, though, when you recall players from loan, I wonder if he's ever asked if he actually wants to come back.
Apparently he did. Apparently he did want to come back, which is interesting itself.
He's always wanted to make it at Chelsea.
I think that's the thing, isn't it?
I think in a way that I think the club have kind of leveraged that against him. I think they've kind of almost used the fact that he's quite loyal against him in that way.
But my problem with it is if Maresca didn't want him in the summer, why is he going to play him now? Because I know he's been brought in because we've got injury problems, but there's still other people who can play there. He could still play Disasi. He could still play Tosin. Imagine if Chalobah comes back and doesn't play.
It would be so unnecessarily harsh on Palace for just taking out a player who actually was doing really well for them. I think a lot of the Palace fans really liked him.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got to think, surely he would have sought some sort of assurances that I'm actually going to play. Otherwise, I'd prefer to just stay at Palace. And to be honest with you, I don't trust Maresca to play him. I don't trust that there's any communication between him and the board at all. I think they're still firing shots in the dark and seeing what they hit.
Yeah.
And
it just seems weird, doesn't it?
As much as I did hate the story about him being sold in the summer, I think it's right. I wouldn't be shocked if he came in, even if he had a really good second half of the season and played every game for us and did really well. I still think he'd be sold in the summer.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Again, but like you say, that kind of begs the question: like, why does he play? Do you think maybe he can raise his own stocks higher, get a better move somewhere else? If he does come back and play well,
he'll play his way into the next manager at Chelsea.
He's going to be the next manager. But I think he will play. But apparently Maresca has come out in the press conference and said the reason that we loaned him was a PSR issue or something. It didn't make any sense to me, because if it was a PSR issue, either with his wages or registering a player, we'd just sell him, wouldn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
The pure profit hit would have been so much greater. So
yeah.
I don't know whether Maresca really did want to. I don't think any recruitment decisions are actually being left up to Maresca at all.
No.
Because we said that, I think he said he wanted to keep Gallagher. He said that he didn't really want Felix. He arrived. He said he didn't want Dewsbury Hall. He arrived as well. So I think at this point, like we've long known, I'm pretty sure that it's the directors and the ownership just making decisions for Maresca, who then Maresca just has to find a way to make the media happy with that option, basically. And it's kind of harsh because he's the face of the club at the moment, and he's the one who's having to take the brunt for a lot of their poor squad building choices. Yeah,
I literally just did a quick list of everything from this week, and the Chalobah story I'll get in depth in a little bit. The Renato Veiga saga, bored of it. Aliano Garnacho.
Sorry, just on Veiga, leave or don't.
I'm bored of it. I'm bored of it. Garnacho, don't like him. Jamie Gittens, I like him. Adeyemi, don't like him. New home kit leaks, don't like them. That's literally how I feel on it.
Yeah,
Adeyemi doesn't score goals. He doesn't score goals.
That's how I feel.
He doesn't score goals, and he's had so many injuries. He's only 22. We've already got a player that can't play games, who's nearly coming up to 22, who's injury prone in our midfield. We don't need another player up front. Well, not up front, but
I think the Adeyemi news is just his agent trying to flog him to us.
I bloody hope so.
Every single club, I think, and even the Garnacho news to a certain degree, even though apparently the interest is concrete. I think every club uses our name now because we're known as a club who would almost buy anybody, for any reason. So we can always be used as an excuse for an agent or whatever to get a bit more money out of their club in a new deal or from another team or whatever else. So I don't know. I think the thing is with all these, you can tell we're finally in the January transfer window, can't you? Because everything's gone into meltdown. But I think the one thing you have to say is we're just going to have to wait and see until things happen. A lot of it's conjecture, a lot of it's sort of made up media nonsense by Fabrizio Romano and Ornstein and all of their gaggle of in the nose and all of that shite. So until you see a player holding up the shirt, don't stress about it. Or until you see him leave, don't stress about it.
Wait for the photoshops.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's just it's not worth it. Just it'll be all right.
all right. Okay. Well, I guess with that midweek match report, woohoo, Chelsea, oh dear, took on Bournemouth in the Premier League. Chelsea's season took another dive into absurdity as they scraped a 2-2 draw against a Bournemouth side held together by duct tape and sheer willpower. From Reece James's channeling of his inner superhero in stoppage time to save the day, to Nicholas Jackson's ongoing one-man show of how not to finish chances, it was a spectacle of some kind. Before Reece James's free kick, it was Antoine Semenyo who turned into a one-man wrecking crew and made Chelsea's makeshift defence look like a hastily assembled IKEA shelf. Meanwhile, Cucurella got into a VAR-worthy hair-pulling spat with David Brooks. VAR said red card, referee said yellow. Even Thomas Tuchel, scouting from the stands, seemed to vanish before the end of the game. But could you blame him? This wasn't football. It was a Shakespearean comedy with £1 billion budget and no plot. Yeah, I went really harsh. I can tell I'm getting better. Or maybe my temperature's making me say bullshit.
You've been grumpy all week. Let's be honest.
I'm allowed. Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 2. Losers and losers. We kick off with the winners and losers. Winners and losers.
Does anyone have any winners?
I have two. Today? I do have two.
I have two as well. I couldn't come up with a third one.
I've got one.
I've got. Who's your one? Who's your one?
Reece James.
I have him.
Yep. Yeah, he's on mine as well.
Yeah,
good goal, wasn't it?
What a moment!
Nice to see him back. Nice to see him get his goal. It's a shame that it was overshadowed by an absolutely dog shit second half performance. But it's nice to see him back. Nice to see him get a goal, actually making a difference in a game.
Yeah, he did.
Impacting a game, winning us a point. It's important. And hopefully not injured either, which is good.
No, he did seem to complete the whole game.
Which is thank God.
Yeah. It was a special moment, his first league minutes since November, and it's a great free kick. And I kind of feel as well that his goal brought down some of the tempers of the state, because you don't know what's going to happen at full time. You don't know if there's going to be boos. You can never tell. And obviously with what's been going on with form and everything, you never know. And I think that just reduced the pressure. And
it definitely did.
Maybe a bit of pressure off Maresca as well, because again, a 2-1 defeat doesn't matter about what we're going to go into later about VAR and all this. It doesn't matter. You've still lost the game.
Because the thing is, last minute equaliser makes it feel like a point gained rather than 2 points lost.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it isn't. It's definitely 2 points lost, but I think whenever you score late, it always makes the result seem better than it was.
Yes.
In the same way that if you concede late, it always seems worse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you concede a last minute equaliser, it feels like you've lost. So, it was an important goal for that. Great free kick. Could see what it meant to him as well.
Oh, God. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But yeah, he was the only winner for me. Because to be fair, I was out, so I couldn't watch the first half. So unfortunately, I only watched.
It's a shame because you
half.
actually missed some. The first half was actually quite good. At least in my opinion, the first half was quite good. But watching a second half of Maresca ball at the moment, you might as well not watch. It's not great.
My second winner is Trevor Chalobah. That is why I said we'll wait, because obviously recall clause was activated on Wednesday, and that's the third time. And you guys already said it. It's what I wrote down. Third time he has now played his way back into 3 different squads.
Yep.
Determination, ability, love it. And I want to make this clear. I want to let us not forget the treatment that he endured. He was stripped of his squad number, which, if you look into it, it's in tribute to his mom. So straight away,
wow.
That was. I think Alex Goldberg tweeted that about that.
We are a shocking club, aren't we now?
Oh, I agree. I found that quite vile. He was stripped of his squad number, forced to train alone. He was basically put on the chopping block by the directors, desperate to sell him. And yet, January 15th, 2025, he's recalled.
Grovelling. And rightfully so.
Suddenly declared an integral part of the squad for the rest of the season. It just made me chuckle that they were like, and then you got all the sporting directors go. You could almost tell when the press release was pushed out to these accounts. All particular Chelsea accounts were starting to push one story or another, and I'm like, oh, here we go. The text has been sent.
You know what's really stupid about it? And I'm almost certain that I've said this before, and I'm absolutely certain it's been mentioned on this pod before. This is why you don't freeze players out,
Correct.
because you just don't know when you're going to need them. Like, I don't understand why. I don't understand the whole freezing players out thing unless they've got a really bad attitude. If they haven't got a terrible attitude and they are not going to be detrimental to the squad, just let them train. You don't play them. And then when they leave, everyone goes, well, they weren't playing anyway, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, look exactly.
Yeah, it
Chalobah and
seems
Chilwell.
unnecessary
what are they-
drama,
no.
doesn't it?
I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing for me. Trevor cares more about the badge on his shirt than any of the players we've signed for a combined 1.5 billion. You know, because he bleeds for the club in a way that you can't buy it. And if Gallagher was on loan at Atletico, I'm pretty sure we'd probably be recalling him too, because they have that. And it's look, social media I see the bashing, and I had to shut down DMs on our account this week because of some. Think about genuinely. I don't know whether people. I don't, because we don't know if they genuinely listen or if they're genuine Chelsea fans. They just like to send abuse. We don't know, but it's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you actually trying to achieve with what you're sending? Have a think to yourself. Come on. I mean, it's the thing, the disconnect between the fans, the club, and the recruitment strategy is glaring for me. The fans don't understand it. The directors don't seem to either. And we've let brilliant players from our academy go, only to replace them with inferior, overpriced signings. It's simple as that. Like, I see the classics. Oh, of course you want all the English lads to play. No.
Just the good ones.
We want, you know, do I want Mason Mount back to play for us? No, because we saw him towards the end of his Chelsea time that he weren't good enough and he didn't want to be here. Now, when it's Chalobah and it's Gallagher, they wanted to be here. But Gallagher was our second best player last season. So don't come but we can do better. Well, we've got Lavia. Is he better? You'd probably go, well, actually he is, but he don't play. He's never fit. So what's the point? He's not better. I'm not having that. Yeah. He's not better. And the thing that bugs me, look at Trevor. It's not a comeback story. It's a reminder. It's not just a comeback story, sorry. It's a reminder of everything wrong with our approach to building a squad. You know, loyalty, passion, and quality are right in front of us in our academy. And yet we overlook it for the pricey thing that we can purchase for 20 and spread it over 20 years. What more? You know, what more? Ollie, who's your final winner?
My final winner is a joint winner. It's me and Chris.
Okay.
Because do you remember a couple weeks ago? I think it was the Palace game. Josh Achiampong started. And played really well, and we were all really pleased with him and how he did really well. And Chris and I rightly said, "Listen, try not to get carried away with him because he's clearly a good player." But at some point, he is going to have a welcome to the Premier League kind of performance, right? He's a young player, always going to happen. And that's what he had against Bournemouth. I'm not going to dig him out too much, and I didn't even want to put him on the losers, so I didn't. Didn't think he was great. Thought he struggled. Thought maybe the occasion got to him a little bit. I'm not going to dig him out too much because he's a young player and he's like second ever start for us. But just an important thing to just mention, and also that Chris and I were right. It's nice to remember that.
He's literally just a kid. And you can't. I mean, people going, "Oh, he's not good enough."
Just listen to us next time. That's all I'm saying.
Calm down. I'll admit, we're getting carried away. One thing or another in like when we had the really good stuff with Maresca and we were in really good form. Yeah, the leagues and title league positions aren't decided in October. They're decided across the whole campaign. And we all got, I think, you can dream a little bit. You can get a bit carried away, but we've been brought back down to earth very quickly. And it's taught me to take the Chris attitude. I'm not getting carried away again. No, not happening. I'm being realistic. So I'm going to try. Losers time.
I've got 4.
How many have I actually got? I've got 1, a list, and a third. So the list is reasonable. Chris?
I've got 2. I've got one normal one and then 1 big one.
Oh, nice. I think we might have sort of similar veins here. I've got officiating as my first.
I actually don't have that, but it was
I don't have
shocking.
that
okay, this isn't the first time I've labelled them as a loser this season. and it certainly won't be the last time this season. Look, I've said it. I've said it so many times this year that I could probably trademark it, and I'd make good money off it because I keep saying it over and over, and I'll say it again before May. I know I will. And obviously, the incident is, of course, the infamous red card debacle with David Brooks taking out Mark Cucurella. No card was issued initially. VAR stepped in and advised referee Robert Jones to review it for a red card offence. Somehow, Jones managed to decide that not only was it unworthy of a red, it was only worthy of a yellow. That's unprecedented decision in Premier League history, because let's not overlook the fact that that is a blatant misuse of VAR. Because we were told it was for offsides, goals, and red card offences. And yet we've just bent the rules. And the fact is that they've said, it bugs me because I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's absolutely no point in having VAR if we're going to misuse it on a game-by-game basis. It's the first time this whole season that let's go to the monitor, it's a red card. We're advising red card. And the ref's gone, no. It's like, fuck off. That's how I felt. I was like, really? I mean, I'm not doing the campaign against Chelsea thing, but I'm thinking you looked at that and went, yellow card. No, he pulls him down. Pulls him down. It's red.
Do you know what I think happened with that? Is so you know how they've in the last few, you know how every few weeks they sort of change what they want to do with VAR, and this week they're trying to keep the on-field decision, right? Is what they want more, or like they're trying to back the referee's decision is what they've said. So obviously VAR can't recommend a yellow card. That's like it's not something it can do. So they've recommended a red card, and then the referee has disagreed with VAR, who can see it from every angle. Which, by the way, he wasn't even looking at it in real time. Like you can see in the replay, he's not even looking at the incident when it happens.
But if you want to,
and then so he sees that, and then he disagrees with that assessment and gives a yellow card. If
you want to chuckle, I'm not even going to reveal this. I'm just going to let you answer it for me. On Ref Watch, which they have on Sky Sports, Dermot Gallagher was asked about the red card. What do you think he said?
Definite red card.
He said it wasn't violent conduct. Of course, he backed his man. He always fucking It's a pointless show. Ref Watch is pointless because every time Dermot backs the referee, it doesn't matter. He's just shown incompetence there by backing Rob Jones, who literally should have sent him off for violent conduct, and he goes, "Nope, it's not violent conduct. It pissed me. That's so bad. It's so bad.
They're really poor.
Oh, it's so awful, man.
Is if he does get sent off, nobody can complain.
No one's going to go, oh, he's going to appeal that on review.
Yeah, nobody goes, oh, that's harsh. You go, no, that was probably about the right decision. Like, so I don't know, man.
The commentary as well, the bias on the commentary, if some people missed out on that, was when they tried to justify it by going, well, it's probably a 1-for-1 because Cucurella on him earlier. Oh, okay, that's justified it. Thanks. Yeah.
I think people don't. Do you know what?
That's not how it works.
Cucurella is one of these players now who I think actually referees referee him differently to other players.
Yeah, definitely.
Like when his hair was pulled the first time, let alone the second and third. But the first time the ref didn't see it, and then I think I don't know, maybe it's because he beat England with the Euros in the summer or whatever, and he's just viewed as differently for some reason. Like a lot of players, like a lot of people, a lot of fans of opposition teams and stuff really don't like him. I couldn't tell you why. So I don't know. Maybe there's just like a general dislike of him, and it kind of bleeds into the way he is refereed against.
Oh, it blows my mind. What, Ollie? You've got a lot of losers. Who's one of yours?
Yeah. The first loser for me is accountability. Big time. And what I mean by that is so we do the thing that we always do at the moment. We went 1-0 up in the game. We didn't take our chances, and then we let the other team back into the game with a shambolic second half performance. That's, if you didn't watch the game, I could have told you that, and that could have been any of our last 5 games, really. But that's basically what happened. And my thing about accountability, and I think it's a question here about leadership in the team, a lot, is that there's nobody ready to take the game by the scruff of the neck in this team at the moment. I think I said that a little bit recently. There's no one's going to grab the game by the balls and get us back into it. Nobody's going to slow the game down, make it a bit nasty, throw a few rough tackles in, waste time, and sort of hurt the momentum of the game in the other team's favour. And the result of that is because we've got no leaders in the squad who are going to be doing that, the result is when goals go in, or like, you know, or when it inevitably comes back against us and the other team comes back into it, everyone's just looking at each other. All the players, they're just looking at each other like confused, heads drop, like nobody knows what's going on. Everyone's looking at each other looking for answers. And the answer is it's all your fault. And nobody on the pitch is taking accountability in that moment to be able to say, no, come on, guys, let's band together and let's fucking get on this. And we're gonna wrap it up here and go and get these 3 points. But nobody wants to do it. You know, everyone, and I think maybe it's the thing about having a team be so young, but everyone seems to just be looking around all the time when things go wrong, rather than actually standing up and taking accountability themselves. So, yeah, it's just something I've noticed, and it's pissed me off a lot.
No, Chris, who's one of your? Well, you've got two, so who's one of your losers then?
Enzo Maresca.
I've got him, and I will go on to that in a minute. That's all you needed to do, Chris. Just the sigh.
I don't think he's a bad manager, but
Totally agree.
I also don't think he's an improvement on any of the managers we've had over the last 3 years. So we've been stuck in a cycle now, I think, of just having average manager after average manager after average manager, that whenever they come in, they're like the second coming of Jesus to everybody, because he plays out from the back like 94% of teams do now, even down as low as the National League. So having a manager who plays out from the back now impresses me about as much as a toddler's drawing.
And Chris says this as a dad.
Oh no.
Yeah. You know, I think you see the difference. All managers have a base style of play. But what the really top managers do, and I think the reason why we're so unaccustomed to this now is because we haven't had one in so long, is they adapt to the game that they are seeing unfold in front of their eyes. And Maresca doesn't do that. He just plays and almost hopes for the best. Subs again, far too late, would suggest to me that he doesn't rate the people behind him still. But even if you don't rate those people behind you, you've got to think, well, I'm not overly impressed with what's happening in front of me. So I might as well give these guys a chance. Doesn't seem willing to do that. I think he's starting to talk some absolute nonsense as well. He's fell into the trap again. And this isn't just him. Poch was the same. And Potter before him was the same. We've had managers now, I think since Conte probably. No, probably since Tuchel. Every manager we've had since Thomas Tuchel has told this squad of players it's okay to lose. Because every time they start winning, they're really quick to downplay it. So as soon as it was, are you in a title race? It was like, oh God, no. No. We're not in a title race. Nowhere near ready for that. Oh my God. Don't talk absolute nonsense. Like they was talking to the manager of Southampton. It's not the same. You know, for me, as a manager, I don't think you can walk into an elite club and play down expectation. You should be playing it up, because you should be relishing that expectation as well. And you should be saying to those players, that's the level that you have to get to. And if you don't, we'll move you on and we'll get someone else in. But these players have been told now for 3 managers, actually, it's okay to finish 4th, 5th even. Might even 6th Europa League, as long as we're in Europe, really. It's all right. I mean, don't expect to win the league because I don't really think you're good enough. That filters through. And I think our mentality is now, actually, it's all right to be pretty average. And I think you see that in these players, that you could argue, oh, they're trying to take the pressure off. But elite players perform under pressure. That's what they have to learn to do. The only way you win
That's
stuff,
why they're elite players. Anyone can do it when it's easy.
Exactly. The only way you win stuff is by learning to live with that pressure. And that's why, you look at what Slot's doing at Liverpool. It's not because he's an outstanding manager. I will be shocked if he turns out to be an outstanding manager who everyone goes, well, fair play. He could win the league this year, and it doesn't change a thing until he's done it for a number of years. But he's walked into a team who knows how to deal with the pressure of we need to win.
Yeah.
And no one really was talking about Liverpool as total contenders at the start of the year. But when they was top of the league and he was being asked, is winning the league the aim? His answer was, yeah, because that's what we are. And yet we're constantly telling these players, you're not winning the league. So then the players lose motivation and they think, now, what's the point then? And I think that's what we're seeing now. And that comes from Maresca. And like I said, it hasn't just been him. But you keep employing average managers, you get average results. So I don't understand what we're so shocked about.
Well, I have got Enzo Maresca, and I have a list because I wanted to get my thoughts in order. I didn't want to rant. So I've got 3 points. Have I got 3 points? Yes, I have. I've got 3 points.
Chelsea haven't. Hey.
Hey!
Oh, that was good. That was good.
Reactions to officiating. Maybe this is a bit, particular, but I thought if this was Mourinho, he'd have called out the string of poor officiating decisions that we faced recently. Obviously, David Brooks on Kukurea, Liam Delap's dive, and also, which one I think we do forget, was Ndidi's foul on Palmer. And that bugged me because that was one Maresca didn't... He defended that. Now, I remember, look, this isn't, I want Mourinho back. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that Mourinho wouldn't have stayed silent. He'd have taken the fine. He'd have been like, I don't care. Fans want to see a manager standing up for the club, show fight, back the badge. They do. And again, there's times to be professional, but there's also times to be honest. And we've had so much go against us unfairly. And you have to, because otherwise you're just sitting there and taking it. And, nothing changes if you don't, you've got to be vocal. The second point was second half meltdowns, because for the last 4 games, we've completely lost control in the second half. It's completely, it's an alarming pattern. And these second half collapses are exactly the same as they were last year. And again, people are going to get pissy about this, but sacking Pochettino from Maresca was pointless if we wanted that to change, because it hasn't. I'm not saying it was a pointless sacking, and I'm not saying that Poch is better than Maresca or Maresca is better than Poch. I'm just stating that nothing has changed in terms of our second half performances, because they fucking ain't any. We come out and we're like, okay. Oh no! Oh, we've lost momentum.
At least not lately, right? Like,
we're awful lately.
At the start of the season, you could argue that it was the opposite. Like we were coming out and performing in some cases even better in the second half than we were in the first. I don't, a lot of people put that down to Maresca's tactical tweaking and stuff, like that. But what the fuck has happened?
I actually know. It's an exclusive on this show, and I'll tell you why we're so poor. We dominate the first half and we get dominated in the opening 10 minutes of the second. And I'll tell you exclusively why clubs and their manager adjust their tactics and we don't respond. We don't. They adjust and we just go, we're gonna play the same. That is on Maresca. You're the job. It's your job.
That is completely on Maresca.
Yeah. I see people go, oh yeah, but but you have to surely notice that if you've dominated the first half, the other manager isn't going to simply go, oh, should we do more of the same? They're not going to. They're going to be like, well, we're getting dominated here by Chelsea. Right, I'm going to have to adjust here. And when they adjust, we just go, this isn't working anymore. Oh, well, let's try and do it again. And finally, subs or lack of. When you're 2-1 down, bringing on a defender for me was baffling. Okay. Maresca isn't going to put the ball in the back of the net himself, but I think you have to show intent. And our first attacking sub came with 9 minutes left. That's far too late for any impact, in my opinion. And
João Felix actually won the free kick that we scored from as well.
Yeah, for me, João Felix should have come on before the second goal even went in. There was such a lack of urgency. It blew my mind. You could say, yeah, but Nkunku wants to leave. Why is he on your bench? Put a youth.
Yeah.
If that is the fact, I've read that enough. Well, Nkunku doesn't want to be here. If that's true, Okay, why is he on the bench then? Because if he's on the
exactly.
bench, then clearly he wants to play. And if it isn't, then that's a poor decision because you've just wasted a bench slot, like when you put two goalkeepers on the bench.
There's no point. It's such a waste. You're fully right, Mikey. Maresca was a loser for me as well. Not necessarily because I thought like he got a huge amount wrong in the game. To be honest, I thought the players let him down more than he let the fans down. But I just feel like at the moment, like it's more of a general comment of like overarching of the form at the moment is that, and it's a bit similar to what Chris said, is that when things aren't going your way, you've got to change something. And at the moment, I'm just not seeing enough changes to be able to say that, like, to say that what we're doing is working. And for me, if you're well, like you say, Mikey, you said it on this show a million times. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, right?
Yeah.
Well, if we're not changing anything, that's what we're doing, and that's what Maresca's doing. I get it; it's important to have a style of play. I get it that it's important for players to have like sort of a tactical familiarity with stuff.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it is not working. So we have to try something else. And I guarantee when we line up at the weekend, we're going to play exactly the same way again. And teams now have a blueprint of how to play against us because of this little run of form that we're struggling with. So players and teams will know what to expect. We have to change it up because that's how you catch people off guard and that's how you win games.
And that's, do you know what? That is the main thing, isn't it? That the step up from the Championship to the Premier League for players and for managers is the fact that the gap is so much smaller than it is. If you've got a really good squad in the Championship, you could literally send your team sheet and tactical dossier to every other manager in that league and go, this is how we're going to play when we play you. And you'll probably still win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't do that in the Premier League because you're playing against better managers with better players who will find a way to counteract what you want to do. And he's being so open about how he wants to play. Like his ridiculous comment about, I hate fullbacks that overlap.
Oh.
Well, every single team we play now know for a fact then we're not going to have an overlapping fullback.
Yeah.
They know for a fact, okay, well, all we'll do then is we'll congest the middle of the pitch because they're not going to play wide. All we've got to do is just deal with the wingers 1v1, and I'm going to come on to that later. We'll deal with their wingers 1v1, and we'll congest the middle area of the pitch. Their best player is playing in the middle of the pitch, so we'll put loads of numbers in there, and all his teammates will go and play right next to him to make it even more condensed for him. So that'll do half the defending for us as well against a really good player. And the manager will sit there and go, that isn't working, but I'm not changing because that's how I play. And then we'll get a result in the game and then he'll say some other stupid comment after.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Pretty much. Ollie, who's another loser for you?
Caicedo.
Oh.
Listen, I really like Moises Caicedo. And I've been one of the people coming out saying that he's been one of our best players this season. He's been really showing a lot, and I'm not going to dig him out too harshly, and I'll get into why after I criticise him. But he was horrible against Bournemouth. I thought he was really, really poor. Didn't look up to it. Didn't look on it at all. I'll leave it at that because I think he's been one of the best players this season. I'm not going to dig him out too harshly. I think he's not 100% fit. I think he's being forced to be overplayed because we don't have enough bodies in midfield. He's also being tasked to cover a lot of ground, and him and Enzo Fernandez are being driven into the ground. So it'll be only a matter of time before both of them get injured. I know Enzo's a doubt for the game against Wolves at the week on Monday already. So we're already starting to see that. But yeah, in a sense, it's almost less that I'm criticising Caicedo and more that he's a loser because I feel bad for him. That's more what it is than anything else.
Okay.
You know what it is? I think you're right about Caicedo, and I wouldn't be shocked even if he doesn't get injured, if we see a really poor second half of the season for Caicedo, because he's essentially been playing in midfield on his own for most of the season.
And a lot of last season.
Yeah, and being asked to cover a lot of ground. He plays a very physical game as well, where he's being asked to win the ball back a lot.
Every international break, he flies halfway around the world, so he doesn't get the rest that he's going to need either. And I think soon our next big injury will be him in my opinion.
If only we had another energetic box-to-box midfielder who could break up play.
Or perhaps one on loan, maybe, that we could
Yeah,
recall.
or maybe one playing in Spain,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
for
what?
example.
Because I know Chris has got a good long one lined up. I'll go with my third, and I'm going to enjoy this because I've made sure I've put my effort into this. It's our sporting directors.
Oh, bingo! That's mine as well.
Nice.
That's my last one.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because we were told that they have 4 transfer windows. We were told wait till September 2024. 4 windows. Let them cook. Let them cook. Under their watch, 4 windows, and yet here we are. No top class goalkeeper. No elite striker. Poor rotational depth, I'd say. I mean, this summer should mark the end for both of them. And let's be real, it probably won't. Not after the absolute PR bile we were served up surrounding the Chalobah situation. I called him up. I said, I don't care. No, you fucked up. You pushed him out because the idea we got off Maresca was it was all you guys. Now, I don't know who's right, who's wrong, but I've got a good feeling the sporting directors had a big say in it. And I look back over these 4 windows and I can confidently say that only Palmer and Caicedo have dramatically improved the team. Lavia's potential, he's never fit. Like I can't remember the tweet. I said something about he was, what was the actual stat? He has never completed a full 90 minutes for Chelsea since joining the club. And even worse, he has only ever played more than 70 minutes 3 times since he signed. That's not good. Not for the fee, but also he's a good player. I'm not knocking that. He's never fit. That's the point. He's never fit.
Even when he played against Bournemouth, first half, he was good.
Yeah. And now he's injured again. So he probably won't play Monday because he's ankle.
He's a doubt for Monday, which is crazy.
Yeah. And injuries are the massive concern. Now, striker-wise, Nicholas Jackson. Now, for me, I love this. He's the Dalton line of strikers. NFL fans will get it. Look, he's not elite, but he's not terrible. He's not terrible at all. Not terrible. But to me, he's top mid-tier unless his finishing improves. Because you can get all those chances. That's great. And I heard Shearer on Match of the Day. He's getting into the places. Yeah, but he's not finishing. Like he's getting too many options. He should be burying 3 or 4 of them. He's getting so many chances. He just can't shoot for some reason. Not on target. And the goalkeeping situation. We've spent 85 million euros on keepers over 2 years, yet not one of Jorgensen, Sanchez, Petrovic or Penders has been a clear upgrade on what we had before. And let's be honest, none of them, I think, would make or even a start for a top 5 team. Not for me. Penders is obviously one for the future, like so much of the squad. And then I look at the rest of the signings we've got. So, Dewsbury Hall, waste of a signing. Waste of a bloody scout report episode, that was. João Felix, he was brought in for the sole purpose of pushing Gallagher out for pure profit. And, okay, some people will point, yeah, but our directors scouted Samuel Marodion, John Duran, Sesko. They're success stories. There's the thing, they don't play for us. They don't play for us, do they? I mean, I've got a good analogy. It's like Birth. Birth, he scouted Chris for this podcast. Chris, fantastic addition. But if he'd have joined another Chelsea pod, I wouldn't be cracking open champagne to celebrate Birth. No. Same goes for me, scouted Ollie. No one's giving me a golden handshake if Ollie goes elsewhere. So let's not applaud scouts or sporting directors for players we never bloody signed. I don't know when that became a thing, and I've read it too much. But Marodion, John Durant, they don't play for us.
But
it doesn't matter.
And on that, giving them praise for scouting players who have gone on to do that we didn't sign, that have gone to other clubs and done well, means absolutely jack shit.
It's like that's like
because
I'll tell you what that's like, Chris. That's like praising a postman who delivered your post to the wrong house.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like so, there's no guarantee they would have come to us and done well though. Like Samu has gone to Porto, so he's playing in the Portuguese league.
Yeah,
but there's no guarantee he would have succeeded in the Premier League. And until we see him at a Premier League club doing it, and then you can go, oh, that was a good. They did well there to scout him. We should have signed him. John Duran isn't a starting striker at Aston Villa. He started to get, and then he got that ridiculous red card, obviously. But again, I would argue jury's probably still out. again, I'd have to see him do it over 18 months or more. Consistently, week in, week out, handle that pressure of being a number 9 at a big club.
Mm.
You can't just say, oh, we scouted these players, they went somewhere else and was good, so that means they would have been good for us, because that's bullshit. Because we love signing someone who should be good for us and they turn out to be crap.
Yeah, that's so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why was it a loser for you, Ollie, as well, before we go to
Well,
Chris?
I'm just going to run you through the summer transfer window.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
This will be a laugh. I would just like to say, before Ollie does this, I would just like to say, I said during the summer that I think this could be our worst window since the Zappa Costa.
I remember that.
window.
And I said the same. I said this is the worst window in ages.
And everyone was
Right.
like, no, I don't think it is. We've signed some really good players. No, we haven't. We haven't signed a single good player.
Right, so okay. So firstly, you got Pedro Neto, 60 million quid, scored 1 league goal.
Yeah, mid-table player.
Not good, not been good enough so far. João Felix, 52 million euros or whatever it was. He's been all right when he's played, but Maresca doesn't trust him. Dewsbury Hall, manager didn't even want him, was a PSR favour to Leicester for 35 million euros. Jorgensen, he's been okay when he's played. He's looked all right. Not a needle mover. Mike Penders, one for the future, so he's irrelevant. Anselmino from Boca Juniors, no idea really. Haven't seen him play. Probably again one for the future, but he'll be all right. Veiga looked all right when he came in, but Maresca doesn't trust him now. We think he's also got some attitude problems. Caleb Wiley, he was one for Strasbourg, so he's basically irrelevant. Guillaume, he's been all right, industrious, 6 million, can't really go wrong. Tosin for free, not bad, but probably not the experience we were looking for. Sancho, decent winger, 25 million, probably a decent price, but not really moved the needle either. And that's it, right? That's all we've got. So when you're looking at a window, right, and a lot of people want to say, like, when you judge a window, is it sort of like good or bad? Did these players end up being absolute disasters, or did they end up being really good? But the reality is with this window, is that actually most of the players we've signed have been meh to irrelevant. Yeah. And that's a terrible window to have, because now we're going to have a lot of players stuck here at Chelsea and some of them will stay for a long, long time, the ones that we can't shift away. I know people talk about the wage structure and they talk about all this stuff, but this is why it feels like the 17-18 window with Zappa Costa and Bakayoko and all of that. Because we've signed about 10 players there, and none of them really demonstrably move the needle at all. Some of them will never move the needle for us. And like at the end of the day, these sporting directors have looked at all of those signings, right? And every single one of them has said, yep, we're going to do that. And at the end of the day, the buck has to stop with them, because they're the ones sanctioning these moves. If it was up to me, I would have sacked them probably 2 seasons ago. But even sacking them tomorrow would be too soon, in my view.
Someone reminded me as well. Kellyman was 19 million. I'd forgot about.
Oh
him.
yeah, Kellyman as well, who's totally irrelevant because he's a PSR favour to Villa, and we lost Maatsen in the interim with that. Gee, I wonder if wish we had a left back who could invert into midfield. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
the squad planning and the squad building is just a mess. And like you say, Mikey, with the money spent, right? 1.5 billion spent. Yeah, I understand. We've gotten a fair bit of that back in players that we've sold and whatnot, and so there's a certain thing to be said about that as well. But when you have spent 1.5 billion pounds or so, you have to be able to say that your team is top tier and is constructed properly. That's not asking too much. But at the moment, we have one good striker. We have no good goalkeepers. Our centre-backs change every week. Our right-backs are constantly injured. We have no midfield cover, and our wingers are average. The whole squad seems like a mess. So when you put it that way, how are they still in post? How are they still? How do they still have their jobs? It's crazy to me.
Oh, do you want to hear a bit? Here's something. Jorge Mendes this according to Damatio, is working hard to send João Felix to AC Milan. Chelsea do not want to sell. Well, that's good. I wonder how that will end.
I'm absolutely fed up. I honestly, if we never, ever, ever sign a Jorge Mendes player again, it would be too soon.
Is Pedro Neto Jorge Mendes?
I don't know.
Probably.
A lot of the.
I'm only thinking because Wolves had a lot of horrendous
a lot of the
players.
Portuguese players are, but like you can never get anything good from a big agent like him trying to move his players every single window because he gets commission off every single time that happens, right? So when that happens, he wins. So it drives me mental. Listen, I don't even love João Felix as a player. I think I've grown to appreciate what he can do, and a lot of people have kind of gone the other way this season. They started out really liking him, and they don't like him as much now. But I don't know. I guess it. Sorry, and that's the other thing with all these deals and stuff is that 4 of the players who we signed in the summer have got a link to moves away now. 4 out of however many, it's no matter which way you slice it. When you signed like even 10 players in the summer, like we did, 4 of them wanting to, having links away 6 months later is ridiculous.
Madness. Right.
They cut your losses if it's not working, but my God, just don't make the bad decision in the first place, lads. Come on,
Chris, who's your final one?
Chelsea as a whole.
Yeah. This is the big one. Go on, Chris. Have a go.
Sporting directors and owners, we've just covered. Basically, they sell good players, they sign average ones.
I so back that.
Generally what we do. If they have a good player, we sell them. And if you're bang average but have got a decent profile, we'll sign you. Or if you're 18 and could be good in 15 years' time, we might have a look at you as well. Home fans, it's been a problem for a long time. The atmosphere at Stamford Bridge is atrocious, and I'd argue it's getting worse. I've got fans in general. I think our fan base is getting worse. I genuinely do. I think now we constantly hype up these bang average footballers who realistically are nowhere near Chelsea standard. The large proportion of online fans is how I'm gonna categorize them.
Yeah.
Care more about how we play rather than actually winning. They'd rather have a manager in who plays pretty football than one who wins stuff. Apparently, it's not acceptable to just win now. You have to win a certain way, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. The ridiculous squad building. Having a squad with no experience in it, except for, one who doesn't train with us. He trains with the under-18s instead. And then we sign someone like Tosin and they go, oh, well, that's an experienced player, but his only experience has ever been mid-table Premier League at best.
And replacing someone like Thiago Silva is a massive net loss for that.
With having, yes, you can have experience, and he is more experienced than the other players in the squad, but his experience isn't relevant to the job that he's doing. It's like I'm mid-30s, I'm experienced, but if you put me in charge of a company, I wouldn't know what I was doing. So, I'm experienced, but it's not relevant to the job that I'm doing. The fact that we just don't seem to want to employ elite managers, and I think we're in a position now where I don't think elite managers would come and manage us. I think the owners have completely ruined the perception of Chelsea as a good place to be. The way that they operate, seemingly they'll just sell a player and they'll just give you players to work with. No elite manager is going to. Yeah, no elite manager is going to work under those conditions. They want a say because they know what they need to be successful. We're constantly linked with poor players. Adeyemi is a prime example. I mean, being linked to someone who scored 5 goals in the Bundesliga in 2 years is utterly embarrassing.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it turns out to be true or not, the fact that we're even linked with him and people believe it suggests where we are at the moment.
Return. It said an end of window loan move could happen. I'm thinking, is this going to be like Saul?
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest with you, I'm absolutely fed up of the narratives around the club. The whole, every time we lose, it's, oh, we've got a young squad. Oh, this squad will be good in 5 years. Look at all the potential it's got.
Yeah, but what about now? What about now?
And the thing is, you can have all the potential in the world. It's like having a garage full of, having a garage with a Porsche in it, but I ain't got the keys. So I've got to drive for Ford Focus still. Unless someone gives me the keys, it doesn't matter. It
Do you know
doesn't
what it's
matter that
like?
it could be a Porsche.
Oh,
Do you know? No, what it's also like. It's like having a garage full of Beanie Babies in like 1995.
oh,
You know, like you're like they could be worth millions,
Yeah.
right?
yeah. No,
But you have no
I
idea.
loved the ones that when you could scratch the tags and it would smell of vanilla. Oh, it was a
Yeah.
time. What a time.
Yeah,
But,
that one's Jao Felix, I think.
Yeah, you know, I'm absolutely sick to death of this narrative of, oh, look how many we created enough chances to win the game, so Maresca should be praised. No, because it's the scoreline in the top corner that matters. It's not. I don't give a shit about your XG. I don't give a shit about your possession, pass completion, passes in the final third, touches in the opposition box. I don't care. I care about the score. And you know, you look at someone like Amarim, for example, at United. They are playing absolute dog shit, but they're getting results because that's what teams have to do. Sometimes you have to play shit and win. And then sometimes you'll play really well and win
And you won't
comfortably.
win.
Yeah, and sometimes you can play really well and not win, and that's fair enough. And you know, yes, we've had some poor decisions go against us, but they don't anger me half as much because we've played shit in those games anyway. You know, like the Liam Delap dive in the Ipswich game. Normally that would have bothered me, but it didn't because we played shit, so we didn't deserve anything out of that game anyway.
And if,
The
and
only
if we
time-
had one from that game, that would have been something to be commended anyway, because we won even though we didn't play very well. But
Yeah.
it,
You know,
but that's the most important thing at the end of the day. Like you're right, Chris, because people use this concept of of how well we played, or like you say, all the stats, or how we play, or how we look like we're doing, all the pressure and the XG and all the rest of it. But in reality, arguably, being that dominant and not winning a game is a bigger sign of a poor performance than a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. From this game specifically, I think, like I said, I didn't watch the first half, and all I heard about was Jackson missed loads of sitters. We should have been 6-0 up, and then we drew the game. It's all Jackson's fault. I watched the highlights. The first chance he has where he gets the ball, beats 3 players, and hits the post from 25 yards is not a chance. Just because he hit the post doesn't mean it was a chance. It was a shot from 25 yards. It's not a chance.
It was if anything, it was a really, really good move from him, that one.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
The one where he gets on the volley at across the near post, again, it's half a chance. People like to big it up like, oh, he's got to score there. But the ball is on its way up. He's moving across outside the near post. That if he finished it, we'd be talking about that is a world-class finish.
Yeah.
And if you would say that about the finish, it's not an easy chance then. The header, yes, I think he should score the header.
Should certainly at least get the rebound on target, shouldn't he?
But then that wound me up more than any of the others because people went, wow, he had the shot that hit the post, he had the volley at the near post, he had the header, and he had the rebound. And I thought, no, he can have one or the other because one doesn't happen without the other. You can't say, oh, he should score the header and score the rebound.
He should have 2 goals from that goal.
That's not how it works. If he scored the header, there was no rebound. So you can have one or the other.
I guess they're saying that even him missing that one, he should have done better with the second bite of it, is what
but
people are
for
saying.
Me, that's one chance. He
I
missed
agree.
one chance, and then I looked at it and I thought, so he's had 1.5 chances in the first half.
Probably should have 3 goals, even though, from that's not. And you're forgetting as well that he set up Palmer's goal brilliantly as well.
Exactly.
Which we're not talking about much today because we lost the game and everything. But actually, his part in Palmer's goal was massive. He made Palmer's goal, and Palmer's finish is really good as well.
Yeah. But let's say, 1.5 chances. You say, score 1. So everyone goes, 2-0. Game's completely different. Bournemouth hit the post in the first half.
Yeah.
If that had gone in, it's 2-1. They're saying exactly the same thing. Their fans are saying the same thing. We had chances. Because every single team has chances. It's rare that you go through a game and you don't have a chance to score. But you're not going to score every chance. And the main thing is, when we was going on that little winning run, which I think has actually saved him, by the way, that 5-game winning run is the only reason why we're in any contention for anything. Because the form either side of that has been iffy at best. When we was in that run, we all said on here, our inability to keep clean sheets is going to cost us eventually. And now it is. Because, yeah, okay, Jackson had some chances. Maybe we should have been 2-0 up. But if you keep a clean sheet, I don't need to.
I saw someone else actually point this out actually online. Isak went a few games without scoring for Newcastle recently.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, sorry, no, sorry. But he did do that. But when they went on their winning run, he was scoring goals. Right, every week at the moment he's scoring goals. Scored like eight goals in a row. Whatever. He's done really, really well.
Yeah.
But if you take away every single goal he scored, Newcastle win every single game still.
Exactly. Because they're not conceding either.
Because they're not conceding. So a lot of people are saying that the goal scoring is the issue. Maybe you're right. Maybe at least you're partially right. But more than anything, it's our ability to not keep the ball out of our own fucking net that's causing us to not get results.
The goal scoring becomes an issue because we know that the opposition are going to score. And that's the problem. Like, you only look at the chances that you've missed in games that you don't win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, emojis. I went with the middle finger because I was annoyed and I was feeling sick. So there you go.
I went with the vomit emoji because I was feeling sick. And I was sick.
I'm going to go with the arrow pointing down because I think our slide down the table isn't going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah, I am worried about it. You know, like City won what two games in 13, and they're right behind us.
Yeah.
Right.
Literally right behind us. Newcastle can't lose at the moment. Come the end of the season, it's going to be really tight. It was in our hands, and I think we might have thrown it away.
Well, hopefully not. So, right, Lion of the midweek. Let's check. I actually don't remember who we had. So, Chris went with Palmer. Not bad. He
Not
scored.
bad. Yeah.
I went with Enzo,
scored.
And the wheel went missing in the second half again, though.
Well, Chris is the winner from that because he picked the only. Yeah. Who do we want to give to someone?
I did want to say really quick that Enzo Fernandez actually had a really good first half.
Was he better than Palmer?
No, Palmer had a better first half, but it's worth pointing out because Chris said recently he said in one of the games that it was the first time he'd ever seen Enzo outperform Caicedo. And I think if he had watched the first half, he'd actually agree that was the second one.
Do we give it Reece James because he came up clutch?
I think it has to be, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah. Big goals in big moments because it was under pressure. He knows what it takes.
This weekend, well, Monday, we welcome Wolves to the Bridge. Premier League, scoop time on the opponent. State of Wolves, currently sitting in 18th and in the relegation zone. They have a record of 4 wins, 4 draws, 13 losses. Recent form, 2 wins, 1 draw, 2 defeats. In the reverse fixture, we won 6-2 with Noni Madueke bagging himself a hat-trick. Players to watch, it's always going to be Mateus Cunha, isn't it? He's the top scorer. Ryan Nouri as well. Mario Lemina, he would have been another name, but he seems to be off. So, yeah, there's that. He's been really good, though, this year. The last time Wolves beat Chelsea was last February, but of course, the last time they beat us at Stamford Bridge, 24th of March, 1979. And it wouldn't be a preview without me telling you what was the UK #1 hit when we lost to them at home.
Was it last Christmas?
It was not last Christmas. It was I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. At the rate Wolves are playing, they certainly won't be. So,
no, but I really liked it.
Right, with the stage set, Lion of the Week predictions, I'm going defensively because I could see something we could be like heads down, especially if we've not got Palmer or Colwill or Lavia.
Or Enzo.
Oh yeah, Enzo as well.
Yeah,
we've got no midfield, basically.
If I had to guess, I would guess that Caicedo and Enzo will probably start the game. If either of them finish the game,
my word,
dropped. I think Palmer will start on the bench.
The wheel has actually copied me again. It's Caicedo. That's what I was thinking.
Really? I think he's going to have a really rough game because I think he's just being driven into the dirt at the moment.
Well, he's going to have to be driven a bit harder. Because
Yeah, I guess so. Oh man,
who plays there?
he's like a 2000 Toyota Corolla. That's what he
Yeah.
is. Honda Civic. Just absolutely just drive that shit until it breaks.
What are you thinking, Chris? Who have you got?
Oh, do you know what? I really don't know.
Just pick
But,
anyone, Chris. Pick someone
but
who you don't want to let you down, but might, because it'll be funny.
Oh, that's nice.
do you know what? Let's have Nicholas Jackson because he's got to score a goal at some point.
Well, yeah.
I like that.
Ollie, come on.
I'm gonna go with Jadon Sancho.
Oh,
Just
okay.
do something, anything.
I like
Oh,
that.
he was world class against Bournemouth, mate. I don't know what you're talking about. No. So you go online. He's world class. That's the word that I've seen used. World class. Jadon Sancho was against
Wow.
Bournemouth.
Jeez, yeah, small world.
Yeah, it was. By the way, it was. They did put a clip underneath of him beating a player on the halfway line and then passing the ball sideways. That's world class.
Oh my word! Right, Christmas questions. I've got them on my phone. Rubicon, is Enzo Maresca the right man for this job after halfway through the season? I think it's just too early to tell.
Jury's out. We'll see. We'll see by the end of the season.
I'm full season.
No, I'm going all in. No.
No. Okay.
Well, it depends what the job is. If the job is to every year fight for fourth, fifth, or sixth, yes. If we actually want to be Chelsea again, no.
Oh, goody, good vibes. You speak my language. You've put, would you take Sergio Ramos on a 6-month deal to sort out the back four? Yes, I would. Get him in. I'd love that. He can't run, but I don't care. Thiago Silva couldn't run really, and he was.
I'm not really.
Class.
I'm not sure. I think this team has discipline issues to start with.
Even better.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's going to help. That would be like, you've got a chicken, like a chicken madras or whatever a spicy curry is, and then you're just like, why don't I just put like a chili pepper, like a ghost pepper in it, just for fun,
Oh,
Yeah.
Some of the questions. Hannah, how do we fix the issue of a Parma goal followed by a loss of momentum in the game? I don't know. I'm no good here.
How do we do that?
Get another manager.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I've got it. The team, whether under Maresca's instruction or not, has to learn how to slow down the game.
Oh, okay.
One of the biggest problems of our team is that we want to play at 1,000 miles an hour for every minute, and so every game devolves into a basketball game where both sides get a lot of chances.
Do you know what we play every game like we're losing?
Yeah, we're like we even when we are losing or we're not winning, we don't we need to know how to slow the game down, kill the game, kill the momentum. Like we need someone to take. And this is kind of what I was saying a little bit earlier in my losers in terms of accountability. You need someone to look around and go, lads, make a few, cynical fouls, keep the ball a bit, slow the game down, kill their momentum, and then we'll speed back up and we'll go again.
Yeah.
But we'll do it to our pace. And I think if we do that, we'd have a much better chance of seeing games out because you can frustrate teams that way by slowing the game down. But we don't do it. We tend to just keep playing like faster and faster and faster and faster until the gaps open up on both ends and every game's a shootout. So
yeah. All righty. So it's time for, where is it? There it is. Lone Army Carousel. So, of course, that's how we wrap up the game, wrap up the show, even. The category this. Oh, I can't believe it. I just actually was going to miss dropping this. The category this week is...
The boys gave everything in the game.
Because I want you to name the top 20 most expensive signings that Graham Potter has made in his career. Permanent signings only. Because if you wonder, João Felix loan was on the top 20. Alone. Yeah, but thankfully we're doing permanents only. So that's according to Transfermarkt, and all the prices are in euros. So, Ollie, I would love a name.
Enzo Fernandez.
121 million euros.
Caicedo.
28.2 million euros for Brighton.
For Brighton.
I know, when I wrote it on,
Oh.
I was like, I wonder if someone's going to say it. Right.
You know what I'm going to struggle with this. Like his time, can't even really remember him being here, and I don't remember what year it was.
It was a blur of trauma that season. I'm going to go with Mikhailo Mudryk.
70 million.
Madueke?
Noni Madueke, 35 million.
Around about Madueke's time.
Malo Gusto.
Malo Gusto, 30.
Badia Shield.
38.
Estupinan.
Oh, lovely shout. Yes, 17.8.
Last player he is. I really like him.
Kukurea?
Yes. Which club at Chris?
At Brighton. I see.
Yeah,
I knew that was Brighton.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure how much they paid for him. But I don't know what remit we're working in here. I don't know how much money he spent.
Wow.
How many do we have left, Mikey?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, quite
11,
a lot.
12. Right. Yeah, 12.
Loads.
Neil Morpay.
15.56.
Now, trying to sit here thinking about who did Brighton sign? Trossard.
Yes, 15.56.
Enciso.
Yes, 11.6. Oh.
Any more for us? Andre Santos?
Yes, 12.5.
You were gonna go. I was gonna do him because I remember the next one as well. David Datro Fofana.
12 million. Don't even know where he's playing at the moment. No idea.
Billy Gilmore.
8.3.
Oh, so we're working with really low numbers here as well. Fuck me.
Jakub Moder.
Yes, 11.
Don't even know who that is.
No, neither do I. There's players on here I didn't even know.
Adam Webster.
22.22.
Yeah, I remember that because I thought, how the fuck are you paying that much for him? He's actually been a decent servant to Brighton, but come on.
4 names left.
Okay. Do you know what? It's just about whether he was enough money. Adingra.
Yes, 8 million. Simon or Simon?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, Chris has got 3 difficult ones now. I'm not even going to pretend for him.
What was that Polish attacking midfield player? Something like Kozlowski or something like that.
I'm allowing it. Kozlowski is on there, 11 million. Oh,
he was. Do you know what? He was highly rated when they signed him, and he's done nothing.
A lot of it'd be interesting. A lot of Brighton's players do that. What about from Salzburg? Mwepu.
23 million. There's 1 name left, Chris.
One name left.
1 name. I'm going to be kind and not play the alarm yet.
No,
I think on the last name, just leave the alarm. I think that's fair.
I'll have to concede here.
It is.
I don't know it either, mate. I have no clue.
I will, of course, play the winning anthem for Ollie.
He's done it!
Thank you, mate.
Abdullah Seema. I don't know who he is.
Never heard of him.
No.
Never heard of him. But I mean, how much was he signed for?
8 million.
Yeah, that's like £4.
Yeah.
So
he was a good showing, I think.
Oh my word, he didn't play a game for Brighton. He was sent on loan to Stoke, and then
that's why we've never heard of him.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
In 2 years, he'll be the best player in the world.
And we'll buy him.
Honestly, that's how it works. Like,
Yeah.
you have these players for Brighton buy, and then
Oh,
nobody's
man.
ever heard of them. They'll go somewhere. When they come back, they'll be amazing, and then they flaunt them for like 80 million.
I'll tell you what, though, like, fair play. I think we've done well there to get down to the last player, considering it was essentially who did Brighton sign?
Yeah.
Yeah. No Östersund's players on there.
I had no clue for Kozlovsky. I didn't even know he signed for them.
Yeah, I remember because he was really highly rated when they signed him, and I can't even remember him ever playing for them.
I don't know if he's still there.
So I'm just looking it up now. We've signed David Datro Fofana on the 1st of January. That's that January window. The first day.
Great.
Him and Andre Santos, actually.
Oh,
Jesus.
Oh no, day one. If only we were that proactive this January.
Yeah. Right. As I completely lose track of where I am. Listeners, we're at the end of another episode. Before you go, of course, proud to remind you about our partnership with Head in the Game, the mental health charity using football to support wellbeing and community. Check them out, headinthegame.co.uk. Treat yourself well. We'll be back on Tuesday with our winners.
You've been listening to At The Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At The Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.